how to find a magic button. Oh, when I started using computers, I couldn't find anything. I mean, a lot of things aren't marked, but this and you have to find that where that thing is, and until you know where it is, until you can figure out where it is, then it seems to be a hidden button or a magic button. So today I'm going to show you how to find a magic button. It's not marked very well. I guess you should know what it is if you understand your computer. I've been working with computers for about 30 years now, and I've been teaching online for about 20 years now. So eventually, and all of this stuff changes. I mean, it just constantly changes. When I first started teaching online, we used floppy disks, and then we started using CDs. And finally, they invented jump drives in about 2005, 2006. But they were very big. They couldn't hold a whole lot. One of the great things about what's happening now is the memory is just so massive. Now you can download movies. You can put movies on jump drives. You can. I have a whole computer on a jump drive, an old computer. They downloaded my entire hard drive to a single jump drive. But in the beginning, they were pretty small. Uh, it, so that's just the way the world works. So one of the problems that I've seen you guys seem to have is inaccurate APA referencing. Uh, Oddly, APA wants you to use what they call a hanging indent with your references, and this is a normal indent, as you can see. Oops, I see it's all blue. There we go. Yeah, this is a normal indent with single spacing. Once upon a time, this is what APA referencing looked like. Not exactly. They didn't have DOI numbers at that point, but this is what they look like. APA comes out with what they call a publication manual every 10 or 15 years, sometimes even sooner. And when I first started working on my dissertation on my PhD in 2000, we were in publication manual fourth edition. Right now we're in the seventh edition. Seventh edition came out in 2020, but back then we were in the fourth edition. And this is exactly what the references look like, except for the DOI numbers, which are relatively new. So in 2002, they switched to the hanging indent. I think they were still single spaced at that point. I've got all the manuals sitting here. It's really kind of funny too because the manuals were all a different color. The fourth edition was this maroony brown color, and the fifth edition was black and was almost all black except for some red on it. And then the sixth edition was blue, and now the seventh edition is orange, three shades of orange and light blue, as weird as that may seem. So who knows what the next one will come out? Maybe it'll be tie-dyed or something. Who knows? Anyway, okay. So what we're talking about is the APA manuals. The seventh edition actually came out in 2020. It came out just in time for COVID, and of course, everybody was upset. Oh no, we've got new protocols. But the reality is, they do these things in order to correct a problem that they have. And as technology increases, of course, and the internet becomes more and more complex and more complicated, one of the things they're going to have to deal with in the future is AI. And I'm not exactly sure what APA is going to do with AI, with artificial intelligence, but I guess we will see. Um, you may wonder why they keep changing the citations. What they're trying to do is to keep up with technology. in 2002, when I first started working on my dissertation, there were hardly any databases. The only way you could find a database was in select universities. And if you were part of the Big Ten, of course, you could use the Big Ten databases. But if you weren't, you had to go to the library and you had to find your reference, and then you had to copy it. As weird as that may seem, web pages are relatively new. They've only been around for a while. And of course, one of the reasons that they have changed things, the sixth edition wanted you to tell them where the database was. What database did you use to find this reference? That was the sixth edition, and thank goodness with the seventh edition, you don't have to do that anymore because the databases are online and you can find them just about anywhere. And who cares which database you got it out of anyway, as long as it's a peer reviewed. And that's the reason they did it. They wanted you to show that it was a peer reviewed journal from a reputable database. So all of this has changed over time, and it's necessary because things change and the internet changes. Internet, of course, was invented in 1993. Actually, it was invented back in the 60s by the military, and only the military was using it because they were using it for targeting or to target inter ballistic missiles that they wanted to drop on somebody's head back during the Cold War. But then after the Cold War ended in 1989, they kind of released the World Wide Web to, and they talk about academia doing all this stuff, but the reality is it was the military that did it, and they released it to the civilian population, and that's where the World Wide Web came from. I can remember when I was in the military back in the 70s and 80s that we had a computer system that was fairly extensive, and of course you couldn't find any of that stuff in the civilian community because it was theoretically secret and all that other stuff. Anyway, so that's the way it works. And now, of course, we need since we have such extensive databases, this is one of the things that we need to show. So what I've done, this reference looks like it would have looked with the fourth edition APA publication manual. That's what it would have looked like. But since 2002, they have changed it to a hanging indentation. Now, how in the world do you make it? I guess you could do it manually if you wanted to. That's kind of labor intensive. But the best way to do this is this magic button right here. And this magic button is called the line and paragraph spacing. This is a wonderful invention. It's wonderful that they've come out with it. I'm one of those people that hits my capitalization lock all the time, and so I'm looking at my fingers because I can't type. I'm looking at my fingers and I'm not looking at what I'm typing, and so I'll say, "Oh my goodness gracious! I just wrote two lines of everything in capitals," and this is one of my favorites. There you go, so that you can make it lowercase. That's wonderful. And here's another magic button, the line and paragraph spacing. So if we were going to change this to proper APA formatting, we'd highlight everything. Then we'll go up to the line and spacing options. And here we can change it to double space because it's supposed to be double space, but we're going to do that inside. So we look at the indentation, we go to special. Right now it's on first line, but if we hit hanging, there we go. And of course we want to change the spacing to double space. There you go. And then we hit OK, and it corrects everything, as you can see. There you go. And that's the way it's supposed to look. So now you can do it too, as wonderful as that is. So I'll talk to you guys later. Now that you know how to, now that you found the magic button, the line and paragraph spacing button. And of course, you guys are more technologically astute than I am, so you probably already knew this. But now I know that you know it because I told you. So we're in good shape. So okay, I'll talk to you later.